So hello students, hope you are doing well. So in this lecture we will be learning the concept of destructor in C++. So destructor is used to deallocate the memory associated with an object. So it is used to deallocate. This line is very important. Deallocate the memory that is associated that is associated with an object. Okay, so destructor is not destroying the object. Okay, so in most of times you must have heard that destructor is used to destroy the object. So destructor is not destroying the object, rather it is just releasing the memory before the objects get destroyed. Okay, so this you have to remember that it is not destroying the object. Okay, it is not destroying the object. Okay, rather it is releasing. Okay, it is releasing the memory okay, before the object before the object gets destroyed. Okay, destroyed, or you can say the object, you can say the scope of the object gets over. Okay, so as soon as the lifetime of the object is completed, okay, at before that moment, okay, as soon as the lifetime of the object or the object is going to be destroyed, this destructor will be invoked and it will release all the memory that is you can say allocated to the particular object. So now we'll just see some properties of the destructor. That is very important. Okay, so some properties of destructor. So the destructor, you can say it is, number one is it is a member function. Okay, it is a member function like as that of a constructor. It is a member function, or you can say it is an instance member function. Okay, it is an instance member function. Instance member means that will run for an object. Okay, it is completely dependent on the object. Okay, it will only work for an object. Next thing is, next important property, the name of the destructor. The name of the destructor, it must be same as that of a class, okay, but it should be preceded, okay, it should be preceded by a tilde sign. Okay, tilde sign. Okay, tilde sign you must have seen in your computers. Okay, this is the sign, this is the tilde sign. Okay, so you can say it is before the number keys, this tilde sign you can see in your systems. Okay, so just down the escape key. So the third property is, that is very important. So this destructor cannot be static. It cannot be a static. So we have just learn the static member functions. So it cannot be static. We cannot create a static destructor, as we cannot create a static constructor. Fourth, there is no return type. Okay, there is no return type for a destructor. Okay, so this is a similar case as that of a constructor. Constructor is also having no return type. Fifth is it doesn't contains any argument. Okay, so no arguments are provided to a destructor. So a destructor will always work, okay, without an argument. So we don't have arguments inside a destructor. A destructor can be empty, okay, or we can write our code or our line of statements inside the destructor. Sixth point is, okay, this is also very important. Destructor cannot be inherited. Destructor cannot be inherited. Means the inheritance in it, we will see in inheritance that when we'll just go to that particular logic, that it cannot be inherited. So these are some important properties of destructor. Okay, so we'll just create a destructor and see the working of a destructor. Okay, so we'll just create a destructor and with the help of a program and see its working. So I just create a class. Okay, let's suppose the class is test, and inside this I'll just create a constructor. Okay, so I'll just create a constructor test, and inside this I just write cout constructor invoke. Okay, I'll just write constructor invoke. Okay, and again I'll create a destructor. So how can I create a destructor? The name of the destructor must be same as that of a class. So in the same way that I have created a default constructor here, so it must be followed by a tilde sign. Okay, so this sign you have to, okay, just put before this the name of the destructor. Okay, and it is also a member function. Okay, so you can just write any statement here. So I'm just writing cout destructor. Okay, destructor invoked. Okay, so this is completed, and now we'll just complete the class and we just create a main. Okay, so a main will be created, and inside main what we'll do, we'll just create an object. So I'll just create an object of type test. Okay, so now when this object will be created, okay, so you have, okay, now gone through the concepts of constructor. Yeah, when the object will be created, so what will happen, the constructor will be invoked. Okay, constructor will be invoked as soon as the object is created. So the output will be, we'll just see the output, that what will be the output. Okay, so the output will be constructor invoked will be printed. Okay, constructor invoked will be printed. Okay, when this particular, okay, when this object, so this object is also like a variable, this is also acting like a local variable now. Okay, this is also like a local variable because the scope of this particular object is main function. Okay, because this is the block, okay, this is the block where this particular object is residing, and the scope of this object is, or this variable is, the main function. So when the main expires, okay, so when the scope is this curly braces. Okay, so as soon as the scope of this object is going to be expired, okay, the destructor will be invoked. So the destructor will be invoked at this particular line. Okay, so when the destructor will be invoked, okay, so this particular statement will be printed. So this particular line destructor will be invoked, and after this, okay, after this the scope of the program is gone. Okay, the scope of this object is gone. Okay, because, or you can say that the main gets over. Okay, the definition of the main gets over, and there is nothing, okay, after this particular, okay, curly brace. So the scope of this object is this curly brace. After this curly brace, okay, the object will be destroyed. There is no working for that object. So before the object is going to be destroyed, okay, the destructor will be executed. Okay, so the output will be, you will get, the output will be destructor invoked. Okay, so in this way we can just see the working of a constructor and the working of a destructor. We can again see a program. We will again see a program which will make you understand better. So again I'll just create a class, for example dummy. Okay, I can create a class dummy, and inside this I just create a constructor, for example dummy. Okay, and inside this I write cout hello constructor. Okay, hello constructor I have just written, and again I create a destructor of type dummy. Okay, and inside this I just write cout hello destructor. Okay, so this I have written. Now in main I will just, so this is the end of the class, and in this main part I will just create an object of type dummy. So I just create an object. For example, I want to create an object, so I just create an object, for example d1, and I just create another object d2. For example, these two objects I have created. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just create another, I'll just create another block. So inside this I create a block and I write cout in block, in block. This is the statement I have written, and again I create a constructor, or I invoke a constructor. I create an object b3. Okay, and I just close this brace, and outside this brace, when the scope of this b3 will be over, I just write cout exited from block. So this I have written. Okay, and after this I will just complete this particular case. So now you have seen that in my program, there are number one, this is the object, and inside block this is the object. Now what will be the output? So we'll just trace the output. Okay, so I'll just trace the output here. So when this object will be created, when this object will be invoked, or when this object is created, so the constructor for d1 will be invoked, and the output will be, the first line will be hello constructor. Okay, hello constructor. For this d2, when d2 will be created, again the constructor will be invoked, and the next output, the next line will be again hello constructor. Okay, now we will just, the control will be in this particular block, and the first statement in this block is in block, so the output will be in block. Okay, after this again we have created an object. Okay, so for this particular object again the constructor will be invoked, and what we have written inside the constructor, hello constructor, will be printed. Okay, now as soon as the scope of this object is going to be over, so at this particular line the destructor for this d3 will be invoked, because the scope of d3 is over after this particular brace. Okay, so in the next line what it will be invoked, it will be hello destructor. Okay, it will be invoked hello destructor. So destructor will be invoked at this particular line. Okay, so destructor will be invoked. Okay, after this the output will be exited from block. Okay, and after this, the main is going to be completed. Okay, because this is the main block, this is the main function, and this is the scope of, scope for these two variables or these two objects. Okay, so before these two objects, are going to be destroyed. Okay, after this, okay, the d1 and d2 won't be exist. Okay, so before these two objects are going to be destroyed, what will happen, that destructor for these two objects will be invoked, and output will be hello destructor, and okay, hello destructor, and again hello destructor. Okay, so in this way, okay, we will get an output. In this way, the working of the destructor is seen in our program. So I hope now you are pretty much clear about the concept of the destructor, that the destructor is not going to destroy the object, rather it is just, okay, it is automatically invoked before the object is going to be destroyed or the scope of the object is finished. Okay, and it is used to reallocate the memory that is associated with the object. Okay, thanks.